like coming and just having a little chat. I suppose like wanting to check in with everybody and how people are doing out there in the world. I had a really exhilarating high last night, dancing to a current fave tune. I've posted it on my Instagram, Nale Faxe or something. Yeah, it's amazing. And I kind of was riding high with that. Before I danced, I was like triggered hardcore and just feeling all this like ragey pain and still processing a lot of like, I guess, my own wounding and pain. And then this song, I just sat and meditated for a while and had a really blissful meditation. And then I danced and it was really exhilarating. And that saw me through the night and I had a reasonable sleep. I got up in the middle of the night. I did the Leo full moon reading for the collective. And today's been just I wrote out, had a good morning actually. I had sessions this morning and I had some good chats with friends this morning. And as the day went on, more of that wounding. And I feel like it's really deep stuff from within self and within the collective field around what we're all facing right now with, the wars and the fearful propaganda everywhere and the reality of like economic collapse and like corporate takeover and stuff. And most of my adult life, pretty much since my teens, but I've always been like super compassionate and feely, as in like images of war, images of animal violence always triggered me as a young child. And in my path, I've endeavored to kind of face that pain and then make changes accordingly. I am well into my 40th decade, and in this moment, I'm feeling tired and have an awareness of like this life being so sacred, and the fact that we're like, all of us, whether we are aware of it or not, are in ceremony. And just our ability to like pause. And even this, I live alone, and one of my more popular videos from, I think, 2014 or 2015, the heading is, or the title is, Spiritual Awakening and a Loneliness. And how and why, and then the outworking of these wounds, which really are like ancestral and inherited, and feeling the pain of our ancestors and making different choices once we process that pain, right? And on my path, teaching yoga, meditating those, and teaching meditation, and navigating this online, all of it's been guided essentially just through listening to my own guidance and intuition and endeavoring to make sense of it, to help other people. And there was a really long phase of me sharing on YouTube specifically where I quite boldly shared a lot of vulnerability in the process of grief and the process of heartbreak, and not blaming people, not blaming other people, but holding space for myself to like release all of that. And I guess in this moment it continues. At the same time, I'm very much aware of feeling this like electric, or almost like electrifying energy as the collective awakens, as more and more people start to see, and all at once releasing a sense of responsibility, and yet feeling a renewal of like the heart, and the heart of humanity, and the heart of Earth, you know, like this beautiful planet that we live on, that we share. And how painful it is to witness people acting out of ego, or I don't even want to use that word, but just acting out of some sense of ownership and possession and dominance over people, over the planet. And then our mindlessness with regards to just like the conveyor belt of shopping and hey guys, and all the stuff that's just like piling up, and the trash piles and the clothes piles. And I have chats like with my sister and chats with my intimate kind of crew of people, of how distorted and kind of blindsiding it is, the American dream, the idea of American dream, of like working to live a certain lifestyle and to just be content, kind of worshiping celebrity and worshiping, I guess, like these false idols, right? And then through that worship, masking our deeper wounds of unworthiness, insecurities, abandonment, rejection, whatever they might be, because of our inherent disconnection through multiple generations of trauma. And yeah, that we got sold out, you know, to just buy loads of stuff and distract ourselves with endless distractions, as it were. And partly, this is partly why I kind of stopped doing the lives, is just the trolls that would come on, hey, thanks, Pran, and say cruel stuff. But I'm reminded actually of a video that I actually recently put out about cruelty, and that cruelty is not a sign of intelligence. That's okay. You know, I am pretty old, and you get to a certain age in these bodies, in this life, well, I am anyway, where I just don't care. People can say what they want, they can be cruel, but I know deep in my heart that's not an evolved state, that's not a kind state, that's not like a happy place to be. You know, being bored, or like thinking that it's funny to like dig on other people, because it's not. It's a part of our own cruelty. It's a part of our own distortion, right? Just like right now, the world's political leaders that are raging wars and endeavoring to just take over stuff with absolutely no sense of compassion, or you know, maybe I'm too far gone down the compassion train, right? Because like, it's insanity. It's pure, unadulterated insanity what's going on, and some of the rationale that And it pains me. It pains my heart because it's psychological warfare. People might call it spiritual warfare. Like, there are forces on this world that have endeavored to control our minds, which is controlling our beingness. And in that trajectory, usurping our personal power and destroying the planet. Like, I always try to kind of bring it down to a common denominator and just what makes sense to me, as far as like, people can debate climate change all they want, but it's pretty effing clear that we're consuming too much and running out of places to dispose of our waste and our trash. And within that culture, what I recognize too is that people just buy stuff, they're stressed out, they're in this weird, like, stressy self-importance, and yet we often have shelter and we have money and we have things that we're not even fucking grateful for, and we just throw it away 2 months later, 2 years later. And it's insane, and for so much of my life, I have been almost like teased or bullied or straight up like betrayed, and people have endeavored to defame me and like destroy my career. And relationships have been incredibly difficult and or non-existent. And the heaviness of my heart in this moment is just this, which has always been there, but it's like a deep yearning for a more loving world, It does affect us. We're all connected. That's the thing about being able to feel. And the feelers and the empaths who totally understand what I'm talking about is that so often it's our own feelings that have been made to be the problem, when alchemy and being able to feel our heart and recognizing that things like crying and feeling is part of awareness. It's part of what makes us human. Why don't we feel pain for the pain that's being inflicted to other humans? I'm increasingly feeling permissioned and like keep going, even after well over 10 years of posting. And I'm, thank God I've come back to a greater place of stability, and I have a home, and I have amazing clients that I get to work with who allow me to sustain myself, and I don't have to overwork, and I live a really simple and peaceful life. And I know that there's so many of you out there who feel me and who get it and who understand. And I mostly garner that the people that I've been able to connect with here are also simple, loving people who are endeavoring to make conscious choices in their lives, who are doing the work regardless of how much money it makes them, regardless of what it looks like on the surface, who might cry every day, and are trying their hardest to look after themselves and to look after the people they love. But it is exhausting, you know? It can be very lonely as well out there in the world for most of us, where either people are too busy, too distracted, too stuck in their ways, too whatever it might be, you know? And having enough compassion to understand that it's because they're broken too, and certain things haven't quite landed for them in as far as what it's going to take to make change. Because that's something I'm super acutely aware of now. It's total. You know what I mean? Like, I got guided and it was immense. Like, the downloads and the high vibration and the feelings were so blissful and ecstatic and like profound, and times where I would just be, my whole body would be quivering and trying to hold the download, and then I think by about 2019 it was crashing, because I didn't have stability. I didn't have enough support. I didn't have a home. I didn't have enough money coming in to support myself. And if any of you have ever experienced financial collapse, it's brutal, because you just start sort of hemorrhaging, and then all the fucking bullshit economy with interest or whatever. And then I've just spent the last few years grounding and still working through a lot of wounding. More significantly and recently, it's the mother wound, and not realizing that I was still masking and like in denial of stuff that happened in childhood, and then endeavoring to discern whether or not my mission, all to love, was worthy, and whether or not it was just a mask to like try to save my mom, or and yet here I am. I still believe in it, because like I know within myself where it's come from, and now, thank God, I'm at a point where I continue to let go of what I think it's supposed to be, what I believe it, how it might go, and just allow the love to be expressed, allow, because this is the thing about our perception when it's not in the heart, is that we perceive at times, I think, pain as a threat, or we perceive people that feel as weak, or the classic thing of you're too sensitive, or that we think that there's like a manipulation going on. And earnest empaths would know that's not the case, and we're always the first to kind of look within and figure out, like, is it me? Am I manipulating? Am I being manipulative? And then as long as you kind of process through it all, it's like, no, that's not what's happening. However, part of me, I think, has come out here because, and I almost feel a bit ashamed, but like, I'm lonely. Exactly, Jordan. Like, that's the thing, is that I recognize the power in it, because I've been a feeler my whole life, and it's taken a while. And when I wrote the book, it was about really embracing it, because I was able to finally like really hold space for deep alchemical transformational stuff that continues to heal me and continues to like allow me to express and to show up. And I never miss a sesh. I never, like, I always show up. I'm Capricorn rising, and I have a South Node in Capricorn. Like, I'm a I'm a bit of a workhorse in a sense. I'm very disciplined. Like, I practice yoga every day, and it's all on flow though. It's not some rigid, like, austere, dogmatic, like, you have to do this. It's become this, like, fluid, but, like, kind of, like, anchored practice that, again, I have the benevolence that I get to share that skill set and tool set with, or toolkit, with clients that pay me well and really appreciate that work that I share with them, and get them moving and get them breathing and get them feeling in their bodies, and remind them to love themselves and remind them to have compassion and to go easy on themselves. And every so often or a lot maybe, I experience things in my reality that, like, just remind me that this is like a lifelong mish, and that I'm gonna have to be patient and continue to be patient with humanity. And yet it's becoming increasingly aware, like, come on, people, like, let's do this, let's wake up, but I can't force that. Like, I that's part of relinquishing control. Like, God, we can have these awarenesses, and yet it's all divine. It's all, like, sacred and divine. So it's having to have complete trust and faith that it's all unfolding perfectly, that this is exactly where we're meant to be, and that everybody is in their awareness exactly right. And I must say, some of you, and I think you know who you are, like, thank you. Because, like, I can feel this is, I guess, the joy of community. I can feel that you're holding space for me, that you're not judging me. And that there's nothing wrong with me for feeling deeply or caring a whole lot for all the people, even the people doing harm. I can somewhat feel enraged, and I want them to not have so much power in many ways, and in some sense, like, I want them to stop what they're doing, but I still don't wish them harm. That's the beauty of compassion, Thank you, guys. That's the beauty of compassion. Understand through compassion, or you misunderstand the times, Yeah, I think that's a big part of it, this sort of existential loneliness that certain people might feel, because there's all this love and care and earnest goodwill to be kind, you know, the kids that wouldn't let kids bully the poor kids, or the, you know, the kids that got bullied. I always wanted to befriend them, kind of thing, and make them feel deserving, you know. And I never know what I'm gonna say in these sorts of shares, and it's been a long time, actually. I feel I feel a song coming through. Oh yeah, I was gonna say that too, like not thinking there's something wrong, or like there's like, oh, what's wrong? You're mentally ill for having a cry, or like feeling the pain of the world. And like, no, like that's healing and alchemy, and it's part of why I have shared, and clearly why I'm sharing now is to let it rip, let people know that the funny tarot readings and the daily shares, that's been part of my process too, you know. That's helped to stabilize me, and keep working, keep at it. But you know, way back when I started, this was really the point. It's just my heart and being like, here you go. Love, it is. It's this unconditional, most beautiful, loving grace that, like, when you say that too, I'm like, we are saved. Love has saved us because we continue to love no matter what, you know? And that's kind of like the mishal to love, is not giving up. But I think maybe that's part of coming on today, was being really tired and the lump in my throat, and not really. I do have people to talk to, okay? And yet sometimes I think you can feel like, although they would disagree, but I feel like, oh, I need to like deal with this myself. I need to, and then I'm like, well, why don't you just fucking go live like you used to? Because I lived alone then, and before I lost everything, kind of thing. And these last few years have been trippy and a little bit blindsiding, and like really at times not knowing if I was gonna get to the other side of anything, and thinking like, fuck, I've just created this mesh that's gonna send people down a trail that just doesn't go anywhere, but it does. And my life is more beautiful, and it is more supported, and I am no millionaire, and there's no money to brag about, but I sustain myself, and that's, for me, enough. It's important, and I'm grateful. And I don't have to force, and I don't have to market, and I don't have to control any narrative. I don't have to really control anything at all, except for my own nervous system. And I don't even like to use the word control. It's more like managing, doing my best to manage the nervous system. Hence, like what do I do? And it's like, just go live and be by your guys' presence and the shared space here. I'm allowed to process some stuff, and already I'm feeling better. So thank you. Holla Shazam. And that, so this is also part of it too, where people are frightened of emotion. Like, no, so crying is really just like one, it's a deep, profound healing, or you're like legit potentially releasing ancestral karma, but like or you know, cellular density, or another way to put it is it's just a way to regulate your nervous system when you're in a funk, when I'm in a freeze mode, when I'm just like scrolling mindlessly, trying to like distract myself from the pain or the numbness or the like whatever is feeling the feels, and don't feel like there's anyone to talk to, or don't feel like, and that, again, that's not a true thing, but you know, when you're in the feeling of it, because even here, I'm like, you guys are here and I get to chat with you. Hello Shazam. And just that, yes, people run from emotion. Like, thank you for using the love lingo. Eat it away, shop it away, scroll it away, fuck it away, porn it away, right? Like, busy, so busy, stress. And I mean, that was clearly part of my guided, like, on top of being on the path of self-destructive drugs and alcohol, the yoga was like being drip fed into my awareness from early childhood, and then eventually landed in my mid-20s, and it saved me. Like, being able to practice yoga and pioneer a career out of practicing and teaching yoga has truly saved my life. Thank you, yoga. And I think the more people practicing yoga, like the more that kind of like power and energy is transforming, because even someone like myself, or one of my favorite teachers, Tara Stiles, they've broken free from like dogmatic yogic teachings. So it's not like, because again, in a lot of India, there's still potentially anyway, like male dominated forms of yoga that have some of that just dogmatic energy, which I think the new paradigm is like, I feel that is actually having to be washed away from all of us. And that whether it's yoga, whether it's somatic work or breath work or whatever healing therapy is coming through us all, like, we're having to like channel that energy and embody it and integrate it to then be it. So I'm not following someone else's rules, right? And I remember like early days when people would like go up and kiss the guru's feet, or like put flowers on the guru's picture or the teacher's picture or whatever. Having this like something like that doesn't quite, because for me, my philosophical mind would always go to like, yeah, but like the earliest yogis, because we have the Yoga Sutras, like Patanjali Yoga Sutras, we have these early texts, right? And when I think about those early texts, before there were teacher trainings and before there was like standardization and all that, it all has value. But in my little brain, I was like, well, yeah, but the early yogis just sat with themselves and disseminated the teachings through their universal connection, right? And embodied that universal knowing in their beingness, and then translated it into words that, you know, thousands of years later we're like, yes, yoga. And I think the more the kind of systematic programming starts to break down, it's becoming more aware that there's distortion in a lot of that, and or ego, or yeah, and that earth, our bodies and earth are like super dupes connected, and that we do ourselves have to find our way. We do within, and that's an essential teaching of yogic philosophy, of like the self-study, the yamas and the niyamas, of practicing compassion, practicing non-violence, non-hoarding, non-stealing. That's another thing reflected in the world. It's like, why are you hoarding all of the world's resources? That's mentally insane, you know? And yet it's just inverted and kind of fucked up, right? Because those same systems limit us. And so self-study, and like in my personal experience, I'm not able to like truly know myself and study myself without feeling all the feels. and that's part of holding space for trigger, right? And this is, I've thought about this, but like we get triggered, but a trigger is an opportunity to heal and to process things, and that, I have no doubt that's how I'm able to kind of keep showing up at life, is because I'm constantly like processing all the feels and the pain, and it somehow inspires me in spirit, right? It inspires me to keep going, to keep having faith, to trust in divine grace. Like just knowing that we're all held through the atrocities and just the warring and the warfaring and these sort of coup energy of, yeah. And I guess like wanting to check in, because every village, absolutely, every single human deserves free clean water and homes and food. That's part of, my friend and I were talking about like the magic, like part of the healing that comes from going to different places, and like in Morocco, places like Indonesia as well, although I have limited experience in just small parts of these countries, right? So like don't quote me on how it is in every part of these countries necessarily, but like where I go and the experience I have is that they're eating their food from their land, and it's affordable. You can eat really, really well for, a few euros. And they support each other. They give each other lifts. They pick each other. They'll be driving down the mountain and see a woman carrying a bag. They pick her up. She's not asking. She's not doing this, but like they pick her up. And there's still that kind of camaraderie and community that I fear so much of our Western cultures have just, it's lost. Because even my sense of community growing up in Canada, there was always like these masks you had to wear in the community. You had to have the right clothes, or you had to speak the right speak, or in my own delusional, slightly delusional upbringing, is like just look the part, talk the part, to fit in. And I'm pretty sure in my spiritual awakening and loneliness bit, like that's part of the undoing of the masking of becoming more self-aware, right? Is noticing those falsities, which is why aspects of our interactions can be so exhausting, right? Because it's like this, I love finding out this word called hyper normalization, which is, this is what we're experiencing in many ways, is everyone's still shopping and we're going to school and we're and yet we're in this collapse. We're in a sort of fascist the control, and it's not just America, or just, this is happening on a global level now. The control forces are making themselves known. It is what it is. We're seeing it more clearly, and that is part of its undoing, right? That's part of because the truth is always the thing that's going to set us free, and there's enough awareness and enough sort of critical mass in the awakened state to anchor. And it's like a message of anchoring that loving frequency, and that those anchor points are happening all over the world simultaneously to this collapsing old paradigm. And yet we're still having a dissonance as far as a large part of the masses who haven't woken up yet, and maybe never will. I don't know what's going to happen exactly. All I know is the vision that I've been born with, right? That I am here endeavoring to create and allow the magic of the universe just to work through me, kind of thing. And so we're anchoring the new. It's happening, you guys. And that power shift is part of the disenfranchisement, is part of the collapsing old paradigms. But this middle is hyper normalization, where they're still shopping, being busy, work, we gotta work, and like, but the freight train is crashing and everybody's still pretending like it's all fine. Like the house of cards is burning down, but everybody's pretending like it's not, like it's all fine, and we're just gonna keep going on this trajectory. And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm pretty sure that's really not how it's all gonna roll out. But what do I know? I don't know. I'm just speaking from my heart, endeavoring to be honest, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Insatiable. Like, it's never satisfied. Just keep shopping. Just keep pretending like everything's fine. But that's part of this idea of astrological awareness as well, is that things are going to shift. Things are shifting. And this next year into 2026, Halashazam, like, it's going to, like, and I think that could be part of my message today, too, is like the grounding and like the practicing of the sharing vulnerably and the grounding is what's allowing us to hold the frequencies. I'm speaking for myself, but some of you might resonate. And is that the collapse taught me more about what I need, showed me more of my blind spots, and then now I'm just more firmly aware. Why do I have these disciplines? Why do I have these practices? Because I'm going to have to hold a lot of love. Which sounds blissful, but it's deep, hardcore emotion work, constant, where you're feeding your biofeedbacking off of the stress and the chaos and the pain of the world, and you're constantly pulling it in to alchemize it, find the love, find the truth, find the and then proceed with caution. And to me, that's like part of the new paradigm. Instead of working in a laborious, taxing way that destroys our bodies over time, we work in a deeply emotional, sacred, ceremonial, spiritual way that looks a bit like where I was earlier, crying, just crying. But sometimes that can get pretty like who God knows what it looks like, but who cares? It's the body's process, right? And so like Earth has storms and whatnot to balance her own ecosystem. We are that too. So it's like embracing that totality, that full spectrum of our humanity, to work with it, so that we be creating systems that are in harmony with Earth and the whole. And people are like, it's never gonna change, or like, I'm like, that's just not true, actually, because things are always changing. And even this so-called economy, which we just think is the mighty, mighty Godhead of all that is, we made that shit up, my lovers. And who knows what the intention was when they made it up. But it's not as real as, it's not real, but it's not what we think it is. And sadly, a lot of it is just there to keep us enslaved and distracted and indentured to it. And that's it's what am I even want to say? That's why at this point, there's no shame around not having lots of money, because I don't care as far as I care about people. And I, through my own like trusting, things lined up, always in the nick of time. Somebody would take me in and offer me a room. Clients come back. Clients reached out. Clients eventually showed up. and wanted to work with me. And a lot of them were people that I've met over the years, right? And I just said I only work online now, and it's like college exam. So that I don't have to drive everywhere all the time, and I can again live rather quiet and peacefully. Rich in love. That's the legit truth, isn't it? And really loving the things that I have. And yeah, being, like I bought a few gifts for people in my life from Morocco, and I'm looking at them now, and like in Morocco, the few times that I bought, so I think there's 2 occasions, maybe 3, definitely 2, where I found something like perfect, or I bought a few little trinkets for my nieces and my sister and stuff. And both of these occasions, the salesmen, they were men, so they wrapped up the thing that I bought, or the things that I did buy, and then they gifted me. They gave me an extra thing. One of them is right here. So like I spent 500 dirham on like some bracelets and a bit of jewelry. Oh yeah, I got myself a snake ring as well. And then he just threw this in. And I was like, is this the right color? Like, did you want to pick your own? And I was like, you've picked it for me. Like, it's perfect. It's bloody perfect. And then actually, let me go grab, I will go grab the other because it's pretty special. I bought someone a really freaking amazing selenite surfboard. Selenite is like my favorite crystal. It's, come on, light. Is selenite. That rhymes. It's the bringer of light. And so I bought this surfboard, and I bought some like covers, some, not, what are they called? The things that you put cups on. Not placemats. Coasters, maybe? And then he gifted me this Hala Shazam, which is selenite with a Fatima hand on it. Like, how lucky am I? How beautiful is that? Imagine going into a store in our culture. I mean, most salespeople don't even look at you, let alone like connect with you, and then give you a gift for buying from them. And where I was in Tagazout, it's all like local, like they're making all their stuff. He made that. I was selling it. And I mean, the surfboard, oh, look, see, there's this one. And then I got a little one as well that I'm gifting to a friend. So now I've got all this selenite like everywhere in every room. Bringer of the light. That should be a song. I'm sure there is a song that's that, but look at it, like that is a gift. And like I'm so grateful to be able to receive that. How juicy. Oh, on my head. I need to have a good cry, you guys. Yeah, right. Yeah, I had a psychic reading, and yeah, I'm not going to use it as a coaster. Also, selenite, it's not really a coaster if it's selenite, because I'm pretty sure that it can break apart when it gets wet. So I had a psychic reading, and the psychic did say like the ancestors are all around me, kind of like cheering me on. And I'm like, cheers. Thanks for that. Appreciate supreme, because I'm getting pretty tired. Each decade, you kind of grow with wisdom, but then, other aspects start to get pretty exhausting. Even years and years ago in 2015, I had an astrological reading, and I'll never forget. He said, you're going to work online. And that was like before I was working online, I was starting to post on YouTube and stuff. And then he said, you've got your 2 biggest challenges are people with big egos and patience. He said you're going to struggle with being patient with people, as far as like being able to like get it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or just this, like understanding what I'm saying rather than, you know, focusing on the external things or whatever. Anyway, look at me now. I started doing my gua sha. I spend a lot of time doing shit like this as well. You know, self-caring, sitting around, giving myself a foot massage, rubbing my face because it feels good. I get face tension. I have Aries, Mercury, and Aries Sun. So my head, I'm a bit headstrong, right? Hence the impatience. I'm like, come on, humanity. Wakey, wakey. Wakey, wakey. Time to break free. Oh, God. Like, hi, 20 years later. It's okay. I trust. I have faith. And I have good people in my life, you know? Thank God. They do flank us and are absolutely brimming with pride. And they're so happy, you know? They're like, yay, you guys. She said that my ancestors were sitting around my kitchen table smoking cigarettes and playing cards. I'm like, that sounds about right. Yeah, it sounds about right, you know? It's anything goes as long as we're kind to each other, kind of thing, right? Oh, that feels really nice, actually. Thanks, Selenite. You do. You never apologize or explain. Oh, God. How thankful. How thankful I am. Because you feel me. You understand what I'm talking about, you know? Yet we're all human with these beautiful challenges that maybe will be with us forever. And yet, and that's part of the vulnerability of sharing is that I'm not here offering any kind of quick fix. I'm like, this life is deep. And the more we can embrace the ceremony of it and invoke the healthy releases like crying and dancing, barefoot on the grass kind of vibratories, hitting up the sea, checking out the sun, checking out the stars, being like, whoa, like, holy shit, aren't we lucky? Aren't we lucky to be alive? The thing is that I don't want the stuff they're trying to sell me. Never have. Briefly, maybe in high school when I was like uber masked and very ill. And then, often addiction takes over because you're just like, trying to deal. And then again, thank God for yoga. I still have my addictions. I don't drink alcohol anymore, and I haven't done for like 12 years. And I'm thankful for that release because that path would have killed me for sure. Or I would just be very depressed, more than likely overweight, and not that there's anything wrong with that. But yeah, I wouldn't have been nearly as happy as although people would be like, you're happy? You seem so sad. And I'm like, no, I am. But like the waves in the sea and the way our planets spiral around one another, I ebb and flow with emotion. I have extraordinary, blissful, ecstatic, beautiful moments of grace and joy that do sustain me through the times of grief and pain. It's true. Girl, it's true. Yeah, it's a huge shift, isn't it, when you can finally not have the compulsion. And to each their own, I am aware that different people work, if you're stabilized with alcohol, people do metabolize it differently and work with it differently, I'd say. I was never one of those people that could have like a glass of wine with dinner. It was always like blackout drunk and getting into really dangerous, horrible situations. So, and causing a lot of pain and destruction for the people in my life. And it was that amount of pain that sent me to India. And when I went to India, that was like my first sort of 3 months of sobriety in 10 years. And then And then within 2.5 years of coming back from, I got straight back on it when I got back from India. But then my relationship fell apart and my life fell apart, and eventually I got on this I started to focus on my career and focusing on conscious manifestation and law of attraction and stuff, and eventually the drinking fell away. Eventually I just didn't want to drink anymore. I had other more important things to do, like broadcast on the internet. And be like, hey guys, hi, guess what, there's people out there, they love you a whole lot. Even if you don't know who they are, they care about you. They care about your well-being. They want you to be well, you know? And yeah, it's funny. I was having a chat with another friend, and he did mention that often is the case that men, it would appear, can metabolize alcohol better than women. But, you know, to each their own. Any substance. I know that people, I quite can enjoy the greens, and some people it's like anxiety levels through the roof and paranoia and all that kind of stuff. And for me, it's been a glorious medicine that I've gone without, or I seem to be able to now go without and be very content and happy, you know. So that's nice. That's nice if that's releasing itself as well. There's a time where I was, I would say, abusing it. But at the same time, it's like a friend when I had nobody around. And I'm very grateful for, because as a plant, I feel like it's sacred. You know? Who? Straight up, diddly dang. So obviously I was in Morocco, right? Yeah, the local hashish. I actually didn't have any. Other people did. I think because I was working fairly intensively while I was there, like I had to teach every day and help out with meals and stuff and still hold down the online work and whatnot. I just felt like, yeah, not dabbling. And was in some pretty vortexual intensities anyway, so like I didn't need any kind of enhancement. And diddly dang. So I'm teaching at a sort of a surf school where there's different people coming and going pretty much every day, from all over the world, right? Egypt and Amsterdam and Italy and France and Germany and America and Canada. I could go on. And one morning at breakfast, because I pretty much every morning after yoga, I would help set up breakfast and sit with everybody, sit with all the guests and have glorious Moroccan breakfast. And somebody out of nowhere was like, did you grow up watching The Simpsons? I said, well, yeah, I did. Why? And he said something along the lines of me saying diddly. You guys, it would be so fun if you ever come do yoga with me, because I just juice it up. I have no barriers anymore. I'll swear sometimes. I try not to swear, but, you know, because it can offend people. But, you know, just be like, focus on your breath because it's the juice of life. Let's hold plank for 55 minutes, and people look at me or they laugh, and I'm like, that's a joke, you know. We're not going to hold plank. Let's just release it now. Okay, we're good. Yeah, I try to make people laugh and feel good about who they are. And it's because, you know, you still get all the folk being like, I can't do yoga, or I'm not good at yoga. And I'm like, that's just not even a thing to me. I'm like, let's hang out. And I'll guide us through this little experience that hopefully you'll feel better after it. And they always do. And I always do. Yoga just means union. Really. Yoga's like, we're all one. Namaste, Moflo lovers. We be one. Come on, remember your divinity. Remember who you are. But the sacred earth medicine is more potent, possibly changed. Yeah, interesting, right? Yeah, and go easy at yourself as well. Like, there's been times where I've really tried to like willpower it, mainly out of shame, and that nor did that work for me. it's been a genuine just day to day, like, actually, I don't think I want that. And noticing it feels, I think because I'm a bit more, I don't know, I feel a bit more stable. And so I don't feel the need to help, for that to help me stabilize. Like a medicine, we've used medicine to obviously support us. And we have to find all the love, and there is no shame, like as in it's all love. It's truly all love, you know? So, yeah, go easy on ourselves. We're all trying to work it out and be the love we wish to see in the world. And for me, this is kind of it, you know? It's like, okay, thanks God. I think I love myself enough now just to keep going and to keep sharing and to believe in the brand and believe in the mission and believe in the vision and trust that it's going to unfold. Because I don't, you know, like there's no, it's simply to build the new, you know, it's simply to be able to co-create in a way that aligns with my heart and soul and not be dictated to by other people. And yet there's a deep resonance with regards to how we align with like the tribe to then let that kind of evolve, right? And it takes some time often to build the trust with people, to know that they're in alignment and truth. That's been part of the stickiest stuff, is just loving people so much and realizing like love isn't, like loving people isn't necessarily like the way, as far as like we can love all these people. It doesn't mean they're gonna like love us back. It doesn't mean they're gonna like be able to fulfill our needs. It doesn't mean they're gonna validate us. It doesn't mean diddly ho hum. You're right, like as in it's the inner work. It's like me going in and processing the pain and continually validating myself and continually affirming myself and, you know, trusting in the guidance, whatever that might be, whatever it is. It's true. Girl, you know it's true. Hala, hala, hala. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I love you. It's the faith. Those who have faith have everything. Yeah. It's, to me, that's legit. Because, yep. Because it all come through, even as in when the externals all, so in my transformational process, everything went, oh, the money, the work, like at that point, like when I had no work and was like hemorrhaging in money and like it was people on the internet, like some of you guys, you know who you are, who would like send in donations that would help me pay rent and or food for the day. I volunteered at a thrift store in Bristol, and I looked for work. This is the thing too. Like I applied for jobs, cafe jobs, Like I wouldn't even get interviews. I got one interview to do some managerial or like admin work for a big trendy yoga studio in London. And I can remember going into the interview just to be present and like I got asked for an interview at a time where I like really needed money to like pay for stuff. And I remember the woman in the interview who was like another yogi or whatever, and she said, "Haven't you done your research? Don't you know who I am?" And I'm like, oh fuck, I'm so out of that world at this point, right? Like I'm so out of that like corporate type of world, even within the well-being industry. I'm not, I never went down any kind of like that, because 2019, yeah, I'd already been like I'd been en fleur teaching yoga and like creating Ultra Love, and then still putting myself, but like I remember cafe jobs and stuff, or like I wouldn't even get asked for an interview, and it was just nothing coming through, hence the faith. It's like, you're just gonna have to ride this one through. And then again, it was a series of cray events where I was asked to go teach in Portugal. And when I was in Portugal, the girl I was living with in Bristol like evicted me, and I didn't have any like contract or anything, so I had like no money, but just enough money would come in to do the thing that I was guided to do in that moment. But fuck me, like it led me to burnout supreme, because I'm in many levels, although I've been dealing with the mother wounding and like lots of like different relational stuff, which has been super profound and annoyingly deep. I It's just been grounding, essentially, to have my own home, so I'm not at the whim of other people, and I'm sustaining myself once again through teaching yoga, but I'm teaching yoga online, and the tarot, there's regular bookings that come into the tarot and occasional sales and stuff, and I feel like all these really hard lessons have just been sort of preparation to navigate the next phase of my senses building, because even our mutual friend here, Scott Zetzla, is likely to come over and help me build a garden. So even if that's the rest of my life, where I'm just living in a little cottage in the middle of nowhere in Devon next to the horses and stuff, where I can start to learn how to grow my own food, have a little greenhouse kind of thing, and just the quiet, So next vision is just building a garden. Although, like I said earlier in the show, I had an amazing dance last night, and I don't know, you guys, I might share some dancing here. It's a bit like nerve-wracking, because it's like the type of dance where nobody's watching, and I danced all like my early childhood. Before the yoga, it was dancing all the time, and I cannot tell you how exquisite it was. Like a divine download, but in my body, where I just knew the movement was just happening, and I just let go. But it was fucking awesome. And I was like, oh yeah, I can dance. But it's not like there's no form to it in essence, right? But I'd be pretty captivated if I saw somebody doing what I did last night over there in my living room. That's it. And it just come through, and my God, it was I want to I want a short form exquisite. It was exquisish, but I really wanted to say exquish. So special. So I don't know, maybe we should have like dance parties or something, because holla, that was like another level that had to happen for me last night. Yeah, because like sometimes I've been to like the odd ecstatic dance party, or like like sober raves and stuff, or like when I go to festivals, and I still sometimes get a feel of like a dullness. It's like you put the right music in flow, and then you get that right energy pulsing, and you just want to inspire people to let go and let the vibration of that divine music move their body. Move the body, girl. Move your body, girl. But not in just like the classic, which is fine. It's fine. But there's a difference. There's a difference when your whole body is being taken by the music. Oh dear God. And that, like, I felt so exhilarated and high on life last night that I just went to bed, and that rode me out. That rode me through until exquez. I dig on it. I dig on it, my lovers. So yeah, the dancing, sort of like an evolution of the yoga vibratories, right? Like the freeform yoga, and then like getting into the music, but the music has to be divine. The music has to be like just right, if because I get bored when I go to like the very rare, like once a year, or the few times where I've been to like festivals or something. I can find a bit of a flow, but it usually only lasts for like 10 minutes or something. And then the music changes, or like I don't get it. I don't get the music or something. It's not working for me. You made your own branch of contemporary dance. That's right. Yeah, my neck is sore. I was doing some stretch today, and I was like, oh, what is up with my neck? Because there was a lot of this stuff going on. And then this morning I'm like, oh, back, so upper, trapezius and stuff right there. And I've just stretched loads, but still achy. I don't care. It's worth it. Worth it. I mean, you know what I mean. Work it, is it worth it? You're going to bank down the paper, reverse it, whatever. Missy Elliott, thank you. Quoting. Contempt. Oh, Shazam. Oh, what a joy. Ooh, something like, it smells like lavender or something. Yeah, it smells delish. Yeah, so I'm feeling like the dance flow might come out a bit, and that I might share a little bit more of the kind of inspired yoga flows with you guys. And it's like going back to early days, 2017, 18, 19. Shall you plant sunflowers? Oh, I could do. Ooh, I should do, really. Would they do all right in this climate, do you think? Do they need more sun than what the UK has to offer? I think people can grow sunflowers here, I should think. Ooh. Have we got a lot of secret to tell? Michelle? Ah, baby, I love your way every day. Hey. Dance yoga. Oh, baby! So listen to music all day and I went to dance yoga. That's it. Yoga it's just the union. So we're doing yoga right now, my lovers. Just by having an honest, heart-centered dialogue. We're yogaing. We're straight up legit. And then you can yoga and like do stretching. I'm yogaing, like we've our old paradigm just seemed to like intellectualize, and it sort of created separation that wasn't, that to me, and it maybe isn't necessary anymore. We're evolving past that. Is it? Well, you've inspired it. I'll definitely get some sunflower seeds and plant some sunflowers. Yeah, I think I will. Like, there's a few different things. I wouldn't mind taking Scots for a surf locally if the weather's right. We would probably do a fair bit of driving around the coast and just checking out the local area, and then getting to work on the garden. He's got a few ideas. I just know I want a plant bed thing, at least one. And I'm probably going to look into getting like a affordable makeshift greenhouse that I can disassemble if I ever have to leave here. Dude, honestly, I would dare say that if you were to watch the dance that moved through my body yesterday, that's kind of the flow. Ballet, contempt, yoga with a bit of hip hop. What? Oh, but there was also some like I mean, hip hop was like, there. I'm not gonna do it now. I'm not in that mode. But there was this beautiful moment. That's when I really feel that this is just like a powerful download, where I was doing, like First Nations or like the natives would do, like they would like, like where they jump around in circles. That was happening, but it was way cooler than what it looks like now. But and yeah, where you're jumping and I could like feel the energy of that ancestral line, because I was just doing circles. But I could feel the kind of, they usually have, I don't know, fans, and that's, sorry, I don't know enough to even speak to it, but I could feel that that's what it was. It was that kind of ceremony that they do, that I've witnessed them do it. Hella so sacred, right? Especially when it's like nobody's watching. That's why I'm so grateful for last night. And then, but there's that weird entrepreneurial brain in me that's like, oh my God, how can I share this with people? Like, how can I let it rip? Like, how could I dance like nobody's watching, but still let people watch. Do you know what I mean? Is that huh? I don't is that cringe? I'm not sure. It could be. Right. And the drums, because this was a very like drum type of native-y, but kind of electronic music as well. Okay, my lovers, it's been an hour and 15 minutes. I think about olden days with Kurt and different peeps, and Kurt would always make a joke of like, I'd say like I'm signing off and then end up ranting on for like 20 minutes. So thank you guys for being here, because I feel like you've helped me move through some stuff. Genuine. You're all healers and the lovers, and I'm so grateful. You're Canadian, eh? You know it. Oh, loving out, Doc. Hey, twice today. Well, yeah, it's been within a day, because it was 1 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning that I saw you for the full moon Leo full moon update. You guys are the freaking best. We've got some of our normal folk are away at the minute, so I'm aware of that. And I'm just ever so grateful. Thank you for holding space for me. Thank you for showing up in my online life and in my internet realm, because it's the quantum, so we're all connected regardless of how close we are in proximity. I hope that you're all staying safe and that the weather's not too harsh for you out there. See? So grateful for you. Remember this? And I'd always sign off, be like, smoochy, smoochy, and vibrational hugs. I'm just leaning in to give the phone a hug because I care. And it feels like that anyway. It feels like meeting up with some good friends where you guys will just listen to me. Having a rough moment. We'll check in soon, yeah? Thank you, guys. Oh, but still love. So loved. OMG. Oh, you guys. I feel so blessed to be here. I'm so freaking grateful for you. I feel like sad leaving. I'll be back. Diddly do, my lovers. Okay? Stay true. You know what to do. You're the one. You're in control. I love you. Have a wonderful day, evening. It's evening time for me. I'm so you guys have helped me shift some stuff, and I'm so grateful. And might have a bit of food, might have some water. I don't know, but I'm gonna go to bed soon. I've got a 6 a.m. call. Stay kind. I love you loads, guys. Peace out.